So Esther's been listening to us. Every time we get on a new rant about something, Esther believes us because she's never found a shred of evidence to the contrary of anything that we've ever said. So she digs into the process that we recommend and finds the manifestational results. So recently, she's been noticing conditions that are not pleasing. Some conditions that are mildly annoying, some conditions that are enormously annoying, some conditions that are unspeakably uncomfortable in the world. There are things that you don't want to be going on. So when she finds herself, for whatever reason, giving her attention to one of those conditions, and she takes the emotional hit of it, she can feel that the opinion of her inner being and the opinion of her, that the opinion of Abraham and the opinion of her are very different opinions, because she can feel the discord, the negative emotion, the tug of war. So she's been sitting with her book and writing the condition, the unwanted condition. This is what's going on, and I sure would feel better if that condition did not exist. And then she acknowledges, but it does exist. It's not my job or my capability. It's not my work. It's not for me to do to change the condition. It just exists. It's also not my work to accept the condition. It is a condition. It's a condition. And then she writes, it's been very helpful for her, if this condition could change to one I prefer, I would feel like this. And then she begins writing some of the emotions that she would feel. I would feel freer, she usually writes. I would feel better. I would feel happier. I would feel better. And then she sits and writes those emotional words, because after all, isn't everything you want, whether it's a material object, a state of being, a pile of money, isn't everything that you want it because you think you would feel better if you had it? So sometimes she'll write a page or two or three or four emotional words. She repeats herself over and over again. She writes the word fun a lot. It would be more fun. Be more fun. I'd feel more clear. I would feel more proud. I would feel more sure. I would feel love. I would feel better. I would feel so good. I would feel exhilarated. I would feel lighthearted. I'd feel that being on vacation feeling. I would feel ease. I would feel sure. I would feel loved. I would feel love. I would feel loved. I would feel loved. I would feel loved. I would feel blessed. I would feel so happy. I would feel glad. And she just writes that and writes that and writes that and writes that and writes that. Before she knows it, she feels those ways because she has distracted herself from the condition, and now she is experiencing unconditional alignment. Are you following? It sounds so simple, it sounds silly. But if you want to feel happy, you've got to figure out how to withdraw your attention from conditions that you cannot change. And even before that, it would be very helpful if you would accept that you cannot change any condition other than the way you feel. So the other day, Esther's been listening to us talking about this. We've been talking about it quite a bit. And she's determined because she so wants to feel good. So she was sitting in Texas in a chair in her living room that looks out across the pool. And she was in such a heightened state of well-being that as she looked out there and saw the crane statues, they're just magnificent, and the beautiful oak trees that are right there, right on the other side of her pool, and the pool itself and all of its engineering and beauty and sound as she looked around, and then the red bird that stood on the point of a tip of a tree and just looked at her. And as Esther is looking at all of this, she is feeling, she's reaching for words to describe to you. You sort of have to kind of be there, but rapturous, elation, unspeakable well-being, indefinable well-being, all the well-being of the world being experienced by her right now. It's a feeling of feeling blessed and loved. And as she sat there, basking in this moment in time and loving the idea of it lasting forever and ever and ever and ever and ever, it started fading. as she focused a little laxly. And then she said, aha, Abraham, I've caught you in a inconsistency here because these are conditions that I am focused upon and I feel good. So don't talk to me about unconditional love because these are conditions and I love them. And we said, here's the difference. You were in that state of love before you realized the depth of the beauty of these conditions. You weren't using these conditions to conjure the feeling of love. You were there and then you realized them. It's the horse before the cart thing, isn't it? In other words, feels like nitpicking. It feels like splitting hairs. It feels like something that we are making more simplistic than you want it to be. But it is that easy. You just have to decide that you want to feel good and stop thinking about things that keep you from feeling good. You're like a cork that bobs on the surface, and that's what feeling good is. You can hold that cork under the water, but when you let go, it's going to bob back up. And this is the thing that we want you to realize about yourself and others. And most of you don't realize it about yourself and others. Happiness is your natural state and would be your state if you weren't thinking thoughts that introduce contradictory energy that keep you from being where the source within you is. That is your natural state. And if you are not happy in any moment, something is out of whack, and it's you. And the reason that you're out of whack in the majority of cases is because you're looking at a condition that you have formerly believed needs to be different, that you can't make different, not fast enough anyway. And so you're standing in discord and giving the condition. All right, so you heard that clearly, didn't you? Now we want to give you another piece of this, because as you integrate this, do you accept, and don't say it if you don't mean it, and it won't hurt our feelings if you don't say it and you don't mean it. We're just going to lead you down a logical path of understanding. So just be real about it. Do you accept, do you believe, does it make sense to you that you are more than this? Yes. That there was something that existed before you got here? And is it logical that that source energy still exists and is aware of you? Well, then you've got everything that you really need to know figured out, because now all you have to do is understand that that source energy part of you is resistance-free. And when you're not, you don't feel so good because you're depriving yourself of that alignment which is natural. So this is the next little piece of this, that as you follow along with us here, so many things are going to come together in your mind and everything's going to become easier and better feeling for you. Do you accept that you came into this life experience with reason or purpose? Yes. And that expansion is the reason or purpose? Moreness. More. So, is it therefore, leading questions, logical to you that what exists now is the bouncing off for what's coming? Isn't that logical? So now we just want to put a very simple question to you, and we want you to ask it of yourself often, every day, several times a day. Did you come to catalog, pigeonhole, document, justify, rationalize what is, or did you come to bounce off of it? Really? So do you feel, we've sort of led you along to this awareness, can you feel how really silly it is to be spending so much time defining what is? Explaining it, defending it, justifying it, cataloging it, pigeonholing it, comparing it. Can you feel how it just all exists for you to bounce from, and can you feel that you kind of want to give your attention to where you're bouncing to rather than what you're bouncing from? And do you realize that if all of your attention, or even most of it, is on what you're bouncing from, you don't bounce to anything different. You just keep recreating what is. And that really is the thing that we want you to recognize and realize. You are the creator of your own perception of reality, and you are source energy in physical bodies. And you came into this time-space reality with very clear intention of living joyfully ever after. And you knew that there would be enough dynamics, that there would be enough variety and contrast to help you make constant new decisions about what you want. And you knew that you had the ability to move toward all of that. But you also knew that it wasn't the arriving at the destination that you were about. It's the journey. It's the continual finding of alignment. And so, one last bold statement that we want you to contemplate. And once you contemplate it and come over time to accept it completely, it is our promise to you that you will then begin your living happily ever after phase of your life experience. Sometimes as your path is unfolding, the perfect thing along the path is a problem coming into greater clarity. Because at the same time that a problem is coming into greater clarity, you are creating the solution in your vortex. Then all you got to do, once you've sufficiently created the solution by poking around at the problem, you just have to decide to be a little more unconditional for just a little while. And the solution will reveal itself to you in very short order. You're going to reach the point that you bless every problematic person in your experience. Oh, you are responsible for major growth within me. I would not be the person I am today if it were not for the harassment that you have provided for me. I'm so appreciative of everything that you've caused me to desire that you're not. And when I gained the wisdom to stop making your deficiencies be the basis of my vibration, then everything that you helped me to become, I began to realize. And then you're going to love all of the components of this magnificent world because we really are all in this together. And when you stop needing to demand the conditions to be a certain way for you at a certain time, you will find freedom. You will find the freedom that you've been looking for. You'll find the joy that is natural to you. And you will begin the living happily ever after phase of your life experience, which as far as we are concerned should be the only phase that you were ever in. We have enjoyed this interaction immensely. You have some things you want to talk about?